Hello everyone. Today I'd like to give a little teamfight breakdown of a game that happened in my normals game yesterday. This is just silver, maybe gold MMR breakdown. So let me slow it down a little bit. So first I'd like to just go through this live. I'm on the blue team. I'm Annie and playing with a couple of my friends. And so I'd like to go through it live and then break down in more detail after that. And you'll note that this team fight sort of breaks in two throughout it. So I'll focus on kind of their backline since that's where most of the action happens, I think. So there it gets an early pick, forces QSS out, and a stun from Syndra. Meanwhile, if you're fighting on backline, go in, nuke out Sivir. She dies. Meanwhile, they haven't been able to do anything to our backline, and clean up from there. So, breaking it down, let me go back again. Ooh, that's an exciting screenshot. Alright, so breaking it down again, and this time I'm going to slow it down a little bit. So the first thing is to ask before you have a team fight, which is sort of like Art of War style, is should you actually fight this? Should you be having the battle here and now? And what you probably missed, I didn't show that, is we just collected the Elder Dragon. So, as you can see, we have Elder Dragon. Yeah, Mark of Elder Dragon. So, we have a nice boost on that, and should have for the next minute or so. So, there's nothing for them to really defend here either. So, if I were them, with hindsight obviously, we'd be better off peeling back to this turret and just defending wave clear for a minute or two, and then take a look for a fight. Because they certainly have the comp that could win, in spite of possibly Ivern. As a champion, that is. He was big this game, but it just doesn't seem like he does any damage or anything late game. So, to start with, we're a little disjointed at the beginning, so maybe that encourages them in. But Fiora goes on towards the backline. This is probably the biggest play right here, or Sivir steps forward here. Does she have Spell Shield up? Yeah, she does. Does not elect to use it, unfortunately, so that's a bit of a mechanical mistake for her. That forces out her QSS, and the Syndra also launches the stun at the same time. Doesn't really hurt Skarner at all. I mean, considering that Syndra could probably one-shot our Vayne. So then, this means that Sivir's basically unable to defend herself. She must have spell shielded after, because she certainly didn't spell shield the stun or anything. Meanwhile, Fiora is 1v1ing Olaf on the side here. So far it's pretty even, but Syndra and Ivern immediately turn their focus towards our backline after Ivern drops his ult right here, which winds up knocking up Skarner. As you can see, have a bit of a group here with Varus and Vayne. And so Braum sees this as a good knock-up opportunity, and goes in on that, and does manage to knock up Vayne, and the Ivern ult comes in too, which offers another knock-up. But in the meantime, Fiora is just DPSing on the backline, and then I come in with the Tibbers QW combo, and there's really nothing that Sivir can do about that unless there's Braum there with his shield blocking it. So she just gets nuked out, and then honestly the rest of the fight is pretty much history there, because Syndra doesn't have a stun. It still would be theoretically possible for them to win, but Ivern doesn't really do any damage to speak of. We have a really hefty tank right here. Olaf's Ragnarok is probably going to expire, and then it's just the Vayne and Varus follow up with the auto attacks. Um, so things to do differently would obviously be if they could have either spell shielded the Skarner ultimate. So I'm backing up again so we can cut through that. So I think there's something that everybody both sides could probably have done things differently, for sure. But probably the biggest thing would be spell shielding the Skarner ultimate, and then as Olaf, either go right on towards the back line once they become visible, or try and stay in front of Sivir, because as you see here, Ivern backs off. He's fairly squishy, but still tankier, I would say, than Sivir. And Sivir has the red buff. She's probably the biggest threat late game, Sivir has the biggest chance to clean up a team fight. Syndra's excellent for picks, obviously, and could just delete Vayne. Probably not Var, since he has Maw of Malmortius, but you can see somebody either appealing for her or spell shielding that would have been preferable. So Braum could have came in on that side. And then I think going on towards the backline, I know watching the replay, I've been guilty of this as a support, is seeing, oh, I can keep the backline busy for several seconds so we clean up the rest of the fight. But unfortunately, against our comp, we have basically everybody besides Skarner is a legitimate DPS threat. So peeling off like 2 of the damage threats doesn't do that much when they group up, and then you can just basically one-shot Sivir. So if Braum had stayed back here, they could have peeled, and I think if Olaf and Braum could have swapped positions, the fight would have been quite a bit different, because we don't have that much peel on the back line. I mean, you can't really peel a Ragnaroking Olaf. And Braum, as you can see, just gets gunned down on the back line and almost immediately. And then the rest is history for that team fight. And then we can just push on to end the game. So those are my takeaways from the team fight. Let me know what you think.